We will go right to our phone callers. First up is Tom. He's listening in Cleveland, Ohio. Hi, Tom.
Hi, how you doing, Hank?
Good. How are you?
I'm hanging in there. I listen to you when I get a chance, and you have some pretty good answers. I had a question that was in John. I usually listen to an MP3 version of the Bible, so I noticed some similarities, but in John 12:5-7, I was wondering, it said, why wasn't this perfume sold and the money given to the poor? It was worth a year's wages. And then it goes on to say, he didn't say this because he cared about the poor, but because he was a thief. Now, my question is if they knew he was a thief, why did they let him take charge of the money?
Yeah, well, that is a good question, but remember that God works with sinful people. He chose 12 disciples. All of the disciples were sinful in one way or another. In the case of Judas, God had a role for him to play. And in fact, I think he used this very occasion, delineated in John chapter 12, as a foreshadowing of the willingness of Judas to sell Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. So already you have contextualization of what we are dealing with and who we are dealing with, for Jesus made clear not only to the disciples, but made clear that Judas was a devil, which is to say that we look at Judas from outward appearances. And that becomes a great example. If we would have been around at the time that Jesus walked the earth, we would have said, I want to be like Judas. Judas was in the inner circle of Christ. He had a prominent place, a prominent position, as pointed out in this very passage. He did take care of the money. So he was prominently considered, and yet Jesus looked past all the externalities, and he saw the heart of Judas. And I think this is a great object lesson for us today reading the Word of God. We look at outward appearances, God sees the heart. And so there are all kinds of people in prominent positions who are not serving Jesus Christ because they deeply love Jesus Christ. They are not there because of the master, rather they are there because of what is on the master's table. In other words, Jesus for them has been reduced to nothing more than a means to their own ends. So in all of this, there are lessons that we can learn, and I think the most prominent lesson here is a foreshadowing in the book of John of what Judas will later do when he betrays the master.
I'm kind of surprised he didn't feel guilty when Jesus said, one of you's going to betray us at the Last Supper, and he didn't even feel guilty about it at all. Like, oh no, he spotted me.
Well, who knows what was going on in his heart, but his heart was hardened in many ways. Imagine being around Jesus, seeing the miracles of Jesus, knowing that he is the one who walks through the doorway of Old Testament prophecy, and yet being willing to betray the Lord of glory.
That was a good answer. Thank you so much, Hank.
You got it. Thank you so much for your call.